Iron Maiden challenge, which just for the listeners that are listening, some people will know what that is and some people possibly won't. Can you just explain what the Iron Maiden challenge was that you got at the SFG one that you did?
Sure. Yeah. So the Iron Maiden challenge is something that's Strong First hosts at their certifications, and it's basically a title that you have to earn. For males, it's called the Beast Tamer. For females, it's called the Iron Maiden. And basically, in order to achieve the title, you have to complete a pistol squat, a weighted pull-up, and a single arm military press with, for women, a 24 kilogram or 53 pound kettlebell. And for males, it's a 48 kilogram, 106 pound kettlebell, all in one sitting.
Yeah. And was there anyone else at your cert who did the Iron Maiden or the Beast Tamer at that one?
There was one other female who achieved the Iron Maiden. I think someone attempted the Beast Tamer, if I recall, it was 6 years ago now, but I don't think he achieved it that day.
Yeah, yeah.
I've got a question, because like people really train for this, right? But it sounds like you just rocked up at the SFG one, which people train for as well. Like really hard to train for that. And you don't even have to do the Iron Maiden in that. The Iron Maiden's like an extra bolt on that people really train hard for. But it sounds like you just rocked up and did it. Is that right?
That's partially true. I don't like getting asked. Not that I don't like it, but I feel a little bit guilty when people ask me like, "Oh my gosh, how did you train for it?" I didn't really train that much for it, to be honest with you. The SFG, the cert itself, I didn't even know what Strong First was until, I don't know, I think a couple months prior, and then I found out there was going to be one in the area where I was living at the time. I think I signed up for it 4 or 5 weeks before, and then did a couple weeks of a program, and because I needed to get my conditioning better for the snatch test, so that was the main thing I focused on. But for me, like, because I grew up as a gymnast and I've always had a pretty good foundation for strength in different capacities, dumbbells, barbells, and what have you, it kind of all, just the foundation that I built from a young age really translated into being ready for the strength standards without having to train too hard. And then for the Iron, I had no idea what the Iron Maiden was. One of my coworkers told me about it, and he said, "Oh, if you're going to the cert, you should try for the Iron Maiden." And I was like, "Well, what is that?" And he sent me the link, and I read about it, and I said, "Oh, I have no idea where I am right now as far as this stuff goes," because I hadn't been training with kettlebells that long. So I gave it a shot, and I was able to do the weighted pull-up the first time I tried it. I started with like a 12 kilo and then just went up a bell size. And then in that training session, I was able to get up to the 24. And then the pistol, same thing. I'd never done a weighted pistol before, but I just worked my way up in that session and did it with a 24. And then the only one I didn't have was the press. And I could do a press with a 20, but I couldn't get the 24 to move. So for about 2 weeks, I trained just slow eccentrics with the 24, and I think maybe the 28, but yeah. And then after, I think a week or two, probably 2 weeks, I was able to press it.
So what did you do? Kind of push press the 24 or the 28 up, and then just really super slow, kind of lower in under tension. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's funny because you said, you get you feel guilty because you're like, well, I didn't train for it and I just rocked up, but that's not true, is it? Because like you say, you started when you were 3 doing gymnastics, and you've built that foundation over your entire life. And this is what we try to get across, because people listening to this might be in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. There's quite a big demographic who listen to this. We don't know, but we think they are. But it's one of those things, because then people can say, "Oh, well, that's fair enough. You started when you were 3." And it's like, but you have a training age, don't you? So your training age is older than most people would be at your age.
That's fair.
But someone could start in the 30s, and then by the time you get to your 50s, you've got a 20-year-old training age, and you can achieve these sorts of things, starting and building that foundation. So no, that's a good message though, because like that's a really great example, starting at such a young age, and then just being able to do these cool things that people think like look great on Instagram and that. It's like, yeah, but no, you don't just do them out of the blue, do you?
No, let's go on Instagram, but it's a hell of a lot better to like use it in real life and just be strong in daily life.
Absolutely. So like you say with a pistol squat, right? Pistol squats, you need really good mobility to do a pistol squat. And you just you've never done a weighted one before, but you just did it. So that proves like the base of strength is there from doing all the other stuff, but you've got the mobility to go with it as well. So therefore it just comes naturally, which is brilliant. So that's a really good message. So thank you for that.